When you see a person limping, usually the first thing you probably think is, I wonder how they sprained their ankle. The reason it's so common for people to assume that someone has sprained their ankle when they limp is because it is so easy to sprain an ankle, whether in sports or just simply from stepping in the wrong area. Ankle sprains are no fun, and in this episode, we're going to take a look at exactly what you can do to help prevent, treat, and rehabilitate from ankle sprains. Welcome to Move Better by Speed Training. Hello, I'm Richard Bucciarelli. Before we start, if you're in pain or injured, check with your doctor before you start any type of physical activity. Now let's get started. Getting an ankle sprain can really suck. It can happen at any time and at any moment if you aren't being careful. With athletes, we're frequently put into different positions where there may be a lack of stability or balance. They're constantly at a risk of falling or landing on the wrong part of their foot or ankle. And the same can be said for the average Joe or Jane who's just walking down the street and lands off of a curb with their foot in the wrong position. In fact, in some cases, individuals who are more prone to spraining their ankle may even be required to wear an ankle brace to help prevent reoccurrence of the injury. But can you prevent ankle sprains? In a simple word, yes. The first thing you need to do is a proper warm-up to loosen up stiff or tight muscles so that ligaments and tendons can move freely. Wearing shoes that provide a proper arch support and also an ankle support that's appropriate for your sport or activity is also a big help. And finally, what we'll be discussing in a bit more detail later, ankle sprains can be prevented by improving strength and flexibility in the ankle joint itself. Having ample strength and flexibility in the ankle and throughout the whole body will help prepare it for potential poor landings or even prevent the poor landings in the first place. So what is an ankle sprain exactly? Let's hear from RV to find out.
When it comes to ankle sprains, there are two different kinds, an eversion sprain and an inversion sprain. Eversion occurs when the ankle rotates outwards, stretching the medial or inner ligaments of the ankle. This form of sprain is not as common due to the fact that the medial ligaments found on the inside of the ankle, known as the deltoid ligament complex, are much stronger than the lateral ligaments on the outside of the ankle. Another reason why eversion sprains are so rare is that the lateral malleolus of the fibula, the ball-shaped point on the outside of the ankle, extends much further than the medial malleolus on the tibia, the ball-shaped point on the inside of the ankle. What this means is the extra extension of the fibula blocks further eversion of the ankle. Inversion, the opposite movement to eversion and the source of most ankle sprains, involves the rotation of the ankle towards the midline of the body. The three most commonly sprained ligaments in inversion are the anterior talofibular ligament, the calcaneofibular ligament, and the posterior talofibular ligament. As these names suggest, all these ligaments are used to join and support different bones of the ankle and the foot. As mentioned earlier, the foot has greater range of motion during inversion, but the ligaments of the foot have their own limitation until they lose strength and stability, which then leads to inversion sprains or lateral ankle sprains. So how do you fix ankle sprains? As always, start with RICE: rest, ice, compress, and elevate. During the acute phase, it is crucial to reduce as much swelling as possible in order to start the healing phase. Once the swelling has subsided and you have been given the green light to exercise from a physician, try the following stretches and exercises. These are not only good for getting back to movement, but also as a preventative measure to avoid ankle sprains in the first place.
Attach a band to a firm and steady upright object such as a table or chair. Place your foot within the band with the sole of your foot facing the upright object. Make sure there's no slack in the band, and then, while laying flat, dorsiflex the leg against the tension of the band. Focus on a slow and steady contraction while dorsiflexing. Sitting on the ground with legs extended, attach the resistance band below the toes. Begin to point the toes against the tension of the band and away from the body, and then slowly bring the foot back to the starting position. Focus on slow contractions and slow eccentric movements in the opposite direction. Perform 10 repetitions for 3 sets. Sitting on a chair or stool, wrap the resistance band around the metatarsals of the foot and have the other end of the band attached to a firm and steady upright object. Rotate the foot against the band towards the midline or away from the upright object. Focus on bringing the foot in while rotating and trying to get the bottom of the foot to point upwards. Perform 8 to 10 repetitions for 3 sets with each foot. Sitting on a chair or stool, wrap the resistance band around the metatarsals of the foot and have the other end of the band attached to a firm and steady upright object. Rotate the foot against the tension of the band away from the midline or away from the upright object. Focus on bringing the foot out while rotating and trying to get the bottom of the foot to point upwards. Perform 8 to 10 repetitions for 3 sets. Leaning against a wall with palms held against it and standing either on a box or on the ground, perform a calf raise by raising the body up onto the toes or balls of the feet. Focus on coming down or lowering the body slowly. Perform 10 repetitions. Next, perform the same calf raise with toes pointed out or away from the body for 10 repetitions. And finally, perform the same calf raise with toes pointed in or towards the body for 10 repetitions. Perform 3 sets of this circuit.
Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like and share the video, leave a comment to let us know what you think about the topic, and hit the notification bell to make sure you never miss an update. We'd also like to hear from you. What specific topic would you like to hear us discuss in a future Move Better episode? Let us know in the comments below. We'll see you next time, and until then, keep running faster, moving better, and training smarter.